Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a brand new video. It's your boy on Fireman, and today, boys, I'm bringing you another video now. Today is what I'm going to cover basically the counter hits and how do I react to counter hits basically. And this one is going to be a little bit advanced. It's not really beginner friendly one, so if you're a new to the game, if you're beginner, just it's good to have the knowledge, right? However, I don't really recommend you focusing on this aspect of the game yet, right? So the idea is going to be as follow, right? Counter hits. Now let's basically understand the normal hit first. So let's put Jamie in the middle of the stage here. So a normal hit, as you can see, is basically, you know, there is nothing about it. There is a single spark, right? Every time you hit something, there is a spark, and the bigger the hit, the basically the bigger the spark is, and there is sweat going all over the place, right? Now this is a normal hit. However, a counter hit, there's sparks all over as you can see. The bigger the hit, the more sparks. It's like you hit two metal things together, and they basically ignite, right, and produce a spark. So this is how you basically going to react to counter hits. Obviously, punish counters, that is even a bigger effect. There is like this red aura coming out, right, and as you can see, this is how you're going to basically react. I don't react to the as you can see, there is punish counter on the right of the screen. I don't see that, right? I'm never really looking that far into the stage, so I'm always focused on the character, right? Do I see sparks? So every time I'm like doing a chain, right, I'm focusing on the sparks right there. So now, two things that you should know. One is how to trigger basically the counter hits. One is a read, and the read is going to be 70% of your counter hits. What do I mean by reads? For example, let's say I'm playing the neutral here, and I'm basically trying to make Jamie here produce either a crouching medium kick or his standing medium kick, right? So I'm gonna bait him in and out of the range, and if I have a solid read on this Jamie, let's say every time I go into his range, he does standing medium kick, right? So just tiny bit before I go into his range, I jump into basically a dive kick, right? I will get the counter hits, and I can basically go into target combo. So this is one. Again, sometimes people won't really do crouching, they won't do, medium kicks or crouching medium kicks or any long buttons, right? Because they know that you can react or you can whiff punish. So what they're going to start to do is basically they start throwing light punches, right? And especially with guile players, if you're good with their booms and you reach this place, every time you go in, they will start using basically their crouching light kick, and it's annoying, right? So one thing that you do is basically preemptively throw a light, right? And once you preemptively throw a light here, you will sometimes catch buttons, right? And if you catch button, you can basically do something like this, and this is the idea here. So this is the first one. The second, this is basically the first way to get a counter hits, right? Now the second way to get a counter hit is mainly so let's say you're on block and your opponent is blocking, right? And you did a couple of these, right? You did a couple of these to him, right? You tick throw, you do two ticks and throw. So he figures out, okay, this guy throws a lot, right? So I'm gonna interrupt him, right? So in his mind, he's going to be like, okay, he does two hits into basically a throw, right? So every time I do this, I get interrupted. Now notice, every time you get interrupted, in your mind you go, okay, this guy is going to throw a button every time I go for a grab, right? So I'm gonna stop doing two hits, and I'm gonna do three hits instead, right? So you're going to do three hits instead, and basically you're going to catch the button here. Now I have Jamie here doing one backward, you know, in slot 4 he does backward, and in slot 3 he does crouch and light. So just to demonstrate, I'm gonna remove the backward here, so you see how basically you get a counter hit, right? So again, with a counter hit, you're going to basically train two things in one. One, you're going to train your ability to do this basically. right, to convert a counter hit light into crouching medium punch, and from the crouching medium punch you're going to into drive rush into your favorite combo, right? You can go for damage, right? You can go for like utility like target combo, into like this, into OD spin knuckle, whatever your choice is. But the idea is to basically start doing this, right? So boom 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 into boom, obviously boom 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 into again boom 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 into boom boom, you know, whatever it is that you want to do. So this is the first stage of the training, right? You want to be consistent with it. You want to be consistent, and every time you get this, you're basically ready to go. Already know the combo routes, already figured out the type of damage that you want to deal. Alright, so the next part of the training is you're basically going to activate the backward movement here, and you're going to have a crouch and light punch. Now the idea here is to basically train your reactions. Do I get a counter hit or do I get a normal hit? Here it's a counter hit, right? And here is a normal hit. So if I do this in a normal hit, it's not the crouching light punch, the crouching medium punch is not gonna connect, so it's useless for me to do a drive rush, right? So what we're gonna basically train is every time we get a counter hit, we do a drive rush. Every time we don't get a counter hit, we stop, like you see. So drive rush because a counter hit, don't drive rush because it's not, don't drive rush, drive rush, drive rush. So you get the idea, right? So this is your training method for you to basically have a kind of a reaction toward drive rush, and to basically getting a feel into when you get a counter hit, start to make your senses like start to have reflexes, basically start to have building your own muscle memory for it. Alright boys, before I forget, the settings. So you will go to a reversal setting, the block reversal, you will go to crouch and light punch, and you will make it the hit count will be 2, and the backward also the hit count would be 2. So in this case you will do 2 lights, right? And then he will either walk back or he either will do a light punch, right? So as you can see, after 2 hits he does something, and here we'll basically do our 3 hits and wait for the reaction, right? We're going to be basically doing this all over again. However, if you want to practice it immediately, change the count to 1, right? And you can basically have a basically 1 guarded attack into basically your reaction combo, basically. So this is for the you know, the regular hit. Now if you keep it in the count of 1, one more thing that I want to basically teach is basically your dive kicks, right? So your dive kicks, after every dive kick, Jamie here will basically either guard one of our hits or he will basically counter, right? So if you're basically if your advantage is negative, you will get hit, right? So you will remove the backward here if you basically wanna always have training basically to be able to have plus frames, or you basically react, okay, this is plus, this is not plus, this is plus, this is not plus. This is how I get my training going, basically. If you trade, you don't have the advantage. I always have 0 or plus since I'm used to it. However, if you're new and you want to practice your dive kick, basically this is the training for you. You either trade or basically, yeah, you want to be either 0 or plus. Obviously you want to be always plus, but it's super hard to do.